Hello everybody and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a simple butter cookie recipe. But as usual we're going to be doing something a little different with our recipe today. Now our recipe is very basic and simple. What you're going to need is 2 cups of your all-purpose flour, a half cup of sugar, 2 egg yolks, 1 cup of unsalted butter, and you're going to need 2 teaspoons of flavoring. Now, most butter cookie recipes call for vanilla flavoring. And if you want just a regular butter cookie, that's absolutely fine. That's completely up to you. But like I said, we're going to be doing something a little different today. We're going to be making some pineapple mango butter cookies. So I have this pineapple flavoring that I'm going to be using today in my recipe. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I have my wonderful stand mixer set up here. As usual, I have my bowl already attached to my mixer. I have my beater attachment attached to my mixer as well. It is in the down position so I can put my ingredients into my bowl. Now what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start with the creaming method. So what we're going to do is take your half cup of sugar and we're going to put it right in our bowl. And I'm going to lift up the bowl. And then we're going to put in our 1 cup of butter. We're not going to do it all at the same time. What you're going to do is you're going to take your stick of butter and you're going to break it because you don't want to break your paddle in your bowl. Now this is cold butter. It's not soft. It's not super rock hard either from being in the refrigerator. So I'm going to go ahead and get my mixer started. And just throw your butter in there, turn it up just a little bit, because we want your butter and your sugar to cream together. Alright, as you can see, the butter and the sugar are creaming together. I'm going to give it a little bit more speed to make sure that these are coming together nicely. Now you don't want to whip it, you just want to cream it. There is a difference because your butter and your sugar will get really light and fluffy if you cream it or whip it too much. So this looks good to me. So the next step we want to do is we want to add our 2 egg yolks. So I'm going to dump these. I should probably lower it down, might be a little easier. Right in our butter, sugar. Put that over in our sink. We'll lift this back up and start mixing this again. Okay. Now remember, we still need the 2 teaspoons of flavoring. So I'm going to turn this off real quick. And I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons of my pineapple flavoring right in there. Now this is the amaretti flavoring. There we go. This brand is a really good brand of flavoring. They make all kinds of different flavors. They're very potent, so you really don't need a whole lot of this to get the flavor you're looking for. This one today I'm using a pineapple compound, but this stuff is amazing. It's really good. Now before I start mixing it, I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to kind of get my butter, my sugar off the sides of my bowl. So that our eggs and stuff can mix really well. Okay, and I see some sticking to the bottom. And you just want to make sure that you get it pretty good off the bottom of your bowl so everything is incorporated nicely. Alright, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to add my flour and my salt. Just go ahead and dump it all in there because, you know, this isn't like a huge batch, so that'll be okay. Lift the bowl back up. And then slowly, so you don't have flour go all up in your face, incorporate your butter mixture into the flour until you see your dough come together. This shouldn't take too long. See it start to pull together now. And I can hear my machine starting to struggle a little bit, which means it's pulling it together. I'm going to whip it up a little bit just to get the process going a little bit quicker. Make sure everything is incorporated. Alright, and looks like our dough is ready to go. Now we're going to take it out of here and we're going to roll it up so we can stick it in the freezer and let it cool. Alright everybody, so we mixed our cookie dough, I got it out of our bowl, and now we have this nice little ball of cookie dough. So what you're going to do now is you're going to kind of take it and you're going to shape it into a log. So I have a piece of parchment paper here, and you're going to need it kind of long to do this, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I want mine to be roughly the length of this parchment paper. I'm going to say this parchment paper is probably a good 18 inches. What does our thing say? Da, 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 da. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is a 15-inch parchment paper that I'm using. So I want mine almost, so I'm probably losing about an inch worth on either side, but that's okay. So you got your log of cookie dough. Well, this looks very bumpy and weird, right? You could use this. It'd be absolutely fine. But if you want like a more professional cookie, so what we're going to do is I have my little bowl scraper here. If you have like a bigger, like a longer, like a ruler or something, would probably work better for this. So let me grab my ruler. I have one of these metal rulers. I got this from Michael's. You can also find them at hardware stores like Home Depot, Lowe's. Any of those places will carry the metal rulers. They're more sturdy and they're really good for baking purposes. So you take your parchment paper and you kind of roll it over like this. Then you're going to take your ruler, your straight edge, whatever you got. You're going to kind of hold it down and you're going to pull the parchment paper so it kind of rolls. And just kind of keep an eye on it. That looks pretty good. Let's see how we did. And now you have a more smooth, pretty even cookie log. Squish my ends in a little bit. So now what I want to do is I want to take it and in the same parchment paper I'm just going to roll it up like this. So now I have a cookie dough ready to use. Now this I'm going to put in the refrigerator for about an hour because I want to use these today. You can leave it in the refrigerator if you want to. If you're not going to use it like in the next few days, you can put this in the freezer and then you have fresh cookie dough waiting for you. You can pull it out anytime you want to. and then you just chop it up and put it in the oven. But I'm going to put this in the cooler in the refrigerator for a good hour, and then we'll come back and we'll show you how to finish these. Alright everybody, so our cookie dough has been in the cooler for about an hour. I just took it out. Now I re-rolled mine because I want my cookie to be about a 2.5 to 3 inch size cookie. So whatever size your cookie dough is when you put it in the oven, that's the size your cookie is going to be when it bakes. So if you're using, like rolling it out, doing cookie cutters, that's the size you're going to get. So I wanted mine to be a little bit bigger than what I had rolled previously. So I re-rolled it, it's a little bigger. So you just unroll it out of your parchment paper, just like so. Here's our log. Now I'm going to use a ruler because I'm going to cut mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into equal pieces, and to get it as close to the same size for each cookie, I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to mark my cut lines. So I'm going to place my ruler here. I'm going to do a 1/4 inch cookie thickness. So I'm just going to do quick little markings here. Now I'm marking on the 1/2 inch, but I know that I'm going to have to go back and cut in between each one of these two. So I got all my cookies marked. Alright, so now we have our cookie dough scored. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 inch thick cookie. So I made scores at the 1/2 inch mark on my ruler. So I know that I have to cut in between each of those marks as well to get roughly an even cookie across the board. So you know, you don't have the people that are like, oh, his cookie's bigger than my cookie. Especially those of you that have kids. So you just get a really good knife and you're just going to cut straight down. And this is thawed out just a little bit, so my cuts are going to be a little off. So I'm just going to take these and just go ahead and put them on my lined sheet pan. Now I'm going to cut enough for this sheet pan, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this back in the cooler, because if this is completely cool or even frozen, it's usually easier to get even cuts. This is really good if you want to make up a bunch of this cookie dough, throw it in the freezer, and then one day you just want like a nice dessert or snack or something. So this cookie dough is still left over, so I'm going to put it back in my parchment paper. Now I could put this in the freezer. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Alright, so our cookies are on our sheet pan, and remember, these are going to bake. They're going to be this size. This is what the size they're going to be when they bake, and that's about the size I was looking for. Now I'm going to do a little something extra. I have some sanding sugar here. It's a kind of a coarse type of sugar. You can find it in most grocery stores. Craft stores usually carry it if they have like a baking section. But I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the top, and this is going to give my cookie some crunch. It's going to give it some nice little, like, you know, some sprinkle. Of course, this is going to make it look kind of like that glitter effect, if you will. Now you can use regular sugar. If you have regular coarse sugar, that works too. This is just a little extra, but it's fun and it's usually worth it. Alright, so we're going to put these in the oven. These are going to bake at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. So again, every oven is different. Climate is different wherever you live. So always do a test batch before you bake all your cookies. That's like #1 rule. So we're gonna put these in the oven and I'll see you back when they're done. Alright everybody, so it's been 12 minutes. Our cookies have come out of the oven. They're still very hot, but I just wanted to show you how they have maintained their shape and their size. They have a little bit of browning on the edge, so this is going to be quite a white cookie. So you can color these. We're actually going to do some icing for these. I don't want to pick these up because they're hot, so they're going to be very soft while they're hot. They're going to cool, and that's when they're going to become more hard and stable. And that's what we want. But these, I'm very, very pleased with these. You can see how nice they look. I don't know if you can see the shimmery from our sugar that we put on top of there. And that's just a little something extra for me. So next we're going to do is our icing for these cookies. So let me see if I can move this without burning myself. Alright, so for our icing, what you're going to need is you're going to need a cup of confectioner's sugar, also known as powdered sugar. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of milk. Now, we didn't run out and get any milk. So today I'm going to use strawberry milk that we had in the refrigerator. So this is going to be very interesting. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of corn syrup. Now, I did not have any corn syrup today, so I had to make a substitute for my corn syrup. Now, what I did is I took 1 1/4 cup of sugar, and then I took 1/3 cup of water. I put it in a pan on the stove, and I brought it to a boil. Now, I'll constantly mix this until it came to the boil. So you're making like a very thick, simple syrup. Simple syrup is 1 part water, 1 part sugar. Used for like cakes and stuff like that to keep them moist. But this is a little thicker consistency, very close to a corn syrupy type product. But so if you don't have any corn syrup, you can do that as well. So that's what I had to do today. And then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of flavor. So most of the time these call for a vanilla. But today, so we made our cookies with the pineapple flavoring. So the icing, I'm going to use the amaretti, again flavoring. I love this stuff. We're going to use the mango. So we're going to have like a mango pineapple cookie when we get done. So that's what we're going to use for our flavoring. So we have all of our ingredients for our icing. Let's get started. Guys, so I had to take it off the mixer. This recipe was way too small for my stand mixer. So I mixed it up a little bit with a whisk, and then I continued with my spatula just so that I could scrape it off the sides and mix it in together. But it looks like it has come together quite well. It has enough give that I can decorate, but it's not going to run off my cookie. At least it doesn't look like it's going to. So that's a good thing with this type of icing. It's a very sweet, of course, because it's all sugar. So if you don't like a sweet cookie, don't put icing on your cookie. But this is going to turn out very nice. So let's put this in our decorating bag, and then we'll decorate our cookies. Alright everybody, so our cookies have cooled down enough so I can start decorating. I have my icing in my piping bag ready to go. I also have my scissors, and I have a little bit of decoration I'm going to put on top. So basically, if you want to get fancy, you can use a piping tip. I don't need a tip for my decoration. Some people put them also in those plastic bottles. It kind of helps them decorate cookies a little easier, and then if you want to do like multiple colors, and then it also keeps the icing nice and soft and pliable while you're decorating. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the end of my piping bag so I can decorate. Oh, a little bigger than that. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a little test, just so I know what I'm working with. That's not bad. Okay. So I'm going to make little COVID-19 faces. So basically I'm just going to do me a line. Oh, it's way too small. So I need this to be a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to do me another line. Oh, that's much better. I'm going to do me kind of an in, and then an in. And we're basically just going to fill this in back and forth. Hopefully it's going to keep some of this so that it looks like the mask and it's billowed. But this icing should fill in. So we have our little mask on our cookie. And I'm just going to continue. This is not bad though. Like, this is actually pretty good. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Okay. Alright, so we got the main part done, and I have this wonderful, it's called Disco Dust. It's edible glitter. You can usually find these at like cake decorating stores and that sort of things. It's not common to see this stuff just at like a grocery store. It's usually quite expensive. You just need a little bit. So usually I cheat. I take my finger and kind of sprinkle onto my cookie like so. And it's just going to add, it's going to literally add glitter to your decoration. Just to give it a little something extra. Okay. And then I'm going to add some eyeballs, so I just want to do probably 2 little eyes like that. Okay, and I thought I had some other things, but I don't. So I'm going to use this for the actual eyeball. Because why not? We're all seeing stars, right? All right. And these are my cookies. I'm going to let these kind of sit and dry completely, and then I'll show you the absolute final product when we get done. So see you in a minute. Alright guys, so our cookies are all decorated, they're dried, they're ready to be displayed. If you have a nice little display piece, maybe a nice plate or platter you can put them on. You can also wrap these up individually. You can hand them out as gifts to your neighbors, to your friends, just as party favors. They're great and they're wonderful for things like that. These turned out so cute. My little mask, my little eyeballs. Everybody's keeping safe during this time and has a nice little delicious treat to go along with it. See how cute that is? Just, oh my god, it's so cute. And they're very delicious, let me tell you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you picked up a few other tips and tricks to help you in your kitchen. I hope I've inspired you to create something. You can make whatever you want. Let your imagination run wild. So until the next video, this is your baking queen, and everybody just keep on baking.